Hi, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Mia Talks. Today, we're chatting with one of the strangest and most brilliant minds in history, a man who many say could have completely changed the world if his ideas had gotten more attention. He's right here with us, Nikola Tesla.
Hello. I'm glad that after all these years, someone still asks, what kind of world did Tesla see in his mind?
Please hit that like button so we can dive into the interview. All right, Mr. Tesla, everyone knows you as a great inventor, alternating current, induction motors, and so much more. But today, we're not just talking about your inventions. We're diving into your wild dreams and ideas. Many say you weren't just an inventor, but a visionary, someone with a different picture of the future. Though, of course, some folks had a different take.
Yes, for me, science was never just a tool. Science was the language of my dreams. I didn't see the world as it was, but as it could be. People often said my ideas were impractical or crazy, but to me, they were just steps toward the future.
One of your most famous ideas was wireless energy transmission. How did that dream come about?
Let me put it simply. Just like radio waves or today's internet reach your phones without wires, I believed electrical energy could reach homes and devices the same way. I built a massive structure called the Wardenclyffe Tower. My goal was to send electrical energy through the Earth and atmosphere to any point in the world. Imagine it. No copper cables, no complex grids. You could even power cars and ships wirelessly. I always thought wires and cables created limitations. Imagine trying to talk on a phone with a wire stretching from one city to another. To me, that was a kind of captivity. I truly believed that if this project had been completed, we could have lit up every small village in Africa or Asia. What I saw was an equal world, a place where wealth or geography didn't decide who gets light and energy.
That's fascinating. But a lot of people say this idea was impractical, insanely expensive, would have wasted tons of energy, and just wouldn't have worked.
You know, many said it was impractical because they didn't want me to succeed. Companies making money from selling cables and power plants, why would they let energy be broadcast wirelessly for free? If they'd given me a chance, maybe today every village and home would have free wireless electricity.
But here's the question. You said you deliver electricity for free. What about the costs? Who'd pay for it? Can energy really reach everyone without a price?
Good question. Look, I didn't mean producing energy would cost nothing. My idea was that once energy was generated, its transmission shouldn't be limited by expensive cables or infrastructure. I thought Wardenclyffe Towers could work like radio transmitters, one for a continent, one for countries. Yes, building and maintaining the towers would cost money, but once they were running, distributing energy could be like broadcasting radio waves, one and done. The costs could have been covered by governments or small groups, but access would essentially be free. Maybe my mistake was thinking a capitalist world could accept something being given to everyone for free.
All right, Mr. Tesla, let's move to another idea. They say you imagined something like the internet long before its time. Is that true or just a legend?
It's not an exaggeration. I once said in an interview that one day people would carry a small device in their pocket and connect to all the world's knowledge. I thought, if sound and images can travel through radio waves, why not information and knowledge? Imagine this. It was 1900. Most people hadn't even seen a wired telephone, and I was talking about something you now call a smartphone and internet.
You really had an open and forward-thinking mind. Another wild thing I've heard is that you were working on some kind of ray therapy. Is that true?
Yes, though it was much more primitive than what you know today. I believed certain frequencies could affect the human body. For example, with vibrations or electrical waves, you could reduce inflammation or illness. I did experiments and jokingly called it my healing machine. Later, I named it the violet ray machine. It might not have seemed very scientific, but today, some physiotherapy methods using electrical or sound waves have roots in those ideas.
One of your most famous ideas were more like pseudoscience.
I'll accept that. I was always moving between science and dreams. Some things were just seeds, not finished products. But if someone had followed up more seriously, maybe we'd have reached some of today's medical technology sooner.
All right, let's tackle a big rumor. You had a deadly weapon called Death Ray. That name sounds terrifying. What's the story behind it?
Oh, the name got scary because the media hyped it up. I called it a peace ray. My idea was to use a focused energy beam to stop any military attack, something that could halt an army or an airplane. If every country had this tool, no one would dare start a war. It was meant to be a deterrent, a weapon that would never be used, just to keep peace.
But critics say if such a thing was actually built, it could have led to a disaster bigger than a world war.
That's true. That's true. Any tool can serve or destroy, like electricity. It can light up homes or electrocute people. I dreamed of using this to stop bloodshed and bring global peace. But for the exact reason you mentioned, I never shared the full plans with anyone. Honestly, I was afraid of what might happen if it fell into the wrong hands. That's why, even today, no one knows if the Death Ray, or Peace Ray, was just an early idea or an actual invention.
I think you made the right call. Let's move to another idea. A flying machine with vertical takeoff. I heard you had designs for something like what we now call VTOL.
Correct. I thought we could build a machine that takes off like a helicopter, but with a different structure and control system. I focused on controlling fields and energy distribution for propulsion. When I see today's drones or military VTOL aircraft, I'm reminded of my rough sketches. Back then, the technology wasn't there to make it happen, but I had the idea.
Before we continue the interview, if you're enjoying this chat and want to see more conversations with history's greatest minds, subscribe to Mia Talks and hit that bell icon. We're a new channel and this is just the beginning. We've got legendary guests coming up that'll blow your mind. One thing people often said about you is that you were in contact with extraterrestrials. In fact, that's one reason some doubted your other ideas. Was there any truth to it?
No, I never said I talked to aliens. But while working on radio waves, I picked up signals I couldn't explain. They were strange to me. Back then, people weren't ready to hear that. I only suggested it might be a sign we're not alone.
A lot of people around you called you a genius, but others slapped the label crazy on you. Some newspapers even called you a mad scientist. Why do you think they said that?
Oh yes, I heard that plenty. The truth is, when someone has ideas far beyond their time, the easiest reaction is to call them crazy. To many, the idea of sending energy wirelessly across the world or building a machine that moves without fuel sounded like a fairy tale, not science. But I always told them, today you laugh at me, tomorrow you'll use my inventions. Just like they once called Galileo crazy. The real madness is closing your eyes to the future and thinking the world we see now is the limit of human potential. That's a madness I don't accept.
Now, let's get to the dreamy part of this talk. If people had really listened to your dreams and ideas, what do you think the world would look like today? What kind of future did you picture in your mind?
Imagine a city with no electrical wires in its streets because energy flows wirelessly through the air. Imagine no wars because every country has a weapon that prevents attacks. Imagine people across the world accessing energy for free. The world would be filled with towers that spread energy like the sun shares its light. If they'd listened to me, maybe today you wouldn't just have wireless phones, you'd have a wireless life.
Just thinking about it is beautiful. But some say the world got enough from your ideas, like alternating current. Maybe not all of them could have worked out.
No, not all dreams come true. Part of a dream's beauty is that it doesn't fully happen. But what matters is having the courage to dream. Dreams are a beacon for those who come after. Even if I didn't build all my dreams, maybe someone after me will carry the path forward.
You're right, Mr. Tesla. Maybe we're still living off the path your dreams laid out. Thank you for dreaming so big for the future.
I'm glad that, nearly 100 years after my ideas, they're still sparking curiosity.
I heard something that really got me curious. Is it true that even when you checked into a hotel, you insisted your room number had to be divisible by 3? Like if they offered you room 25 instead of 3, 6, or 9, you'd say, no, thanks.
Exactly. If they gave me room 25, I'd say, nope, this room doesn't have the right energy. Then I'd hunt for one like 27 that's divisible by 3. It wasn't just hotels. I had a whole obsession with threes. If I washed my hands, I'd do it 3 times. If I walked around a building, I'd circle it 3 times. Even when eating soup with a spoon, sometimes I'd count 3, 6, or 9 spoonfuls. To me, 3, 6, and 9 were like cheat codes for the universe. I felt the whole world was tuned to them. But from the outside, people just thought I was some nut arguing with the hotel manager over a room number.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tesla. And that's our chat with Nikola Tesla, a man who was both a genius and a dreamer. He wanted to build a beautiful world for us that he couldn't quite create, and maybe it wasn't even possible. What do you think? Were Tesla's ideas and dreams practical or just impossible fantasies? Which of his ideas could have changed the world the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Oh, and don't forget to like the video. And as always, subscribe so you don't miss the next Mia Talks.